Hello everyone, Waxo here with the triumphant return of the Waxo Report. It's been about a month since the previous episode, and, well, I assure you it will have been worth the wait. The first thing I want to address is that the report will now follow a bi-weekly schedule from here on out. This is to ensure that I have plenty of time to work on and put out a variety of videos for you all to enjoy. Previously, I was trying to balance projects along with gathering news day in and day out, which led to either the Wax Report missing the weekend, another project coming out later than I wanted, or just not putting anything on the channel at all because I was just absolutely overwhelmed for the week. I feel as if the bi-weekly switch will actually help prevent that from happening, and just overall help me out tremendously. To also give a quick update, I want to mention that May will by far be the busiest for the channel so far. For gameplays this month, I have planned videos for Hood, Outlaws and Legends, the PvPvE heist game that drops on the 10th, and the Left 4 Dead-esque Second Extinction. I actually already have footage of Second Extinction, so expect to see that sometime soon. As for reviews, I plan on tackling the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, since I have shamefully never finished a Mass Effect, and Biomutant, the RPG that disappeared for years to show up out of the utter blue and is dropping towards the end of the month. Again, that's all I have currently planned for the month, with other videos quite possibly dropping out of nowhere, so if you don't want to miss a second of upcoming content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you keep up to date with everything coming out in the near future. So without further ado, let's hop into the 10th and first bi-weekly Waxo Report. To start us off, I'm actually going to address a few stories I found to be interesting that took place toward the end of April. Up first is the positive turnaround for Sony and PlayStation. At the start of the month, Sony found themselves under quite a bit of fire due to their decision to close the PS3, PS Vita, and PSP stores this upcoming summer, a decision that has since been reversed. The initial reaction to this was that Sony would be severely hurting games preservation for those who exclusively launched digitally on their older platforms, essentially causing hundreds, if not thousands, of games to just disappear to never be seen again. In the case of the Vita, a developer who was currently making a title for the platform hadn't even been properly informed of the upcoming closures, which had to be undeniably frustrating. Fortunately, however, Sony has since reversed the decision to close these markets and will be keeping them open for the foreseeable future. Since that though, they seem to be back in good graces due to a constant stream of Ratchet & Clank news that led to an awesome showcasing of the title with its own state of play, and the very positive reactions from Housemarque's Returnal, even in spite of a few launch issues. From the Microsoft side of things, xCloud, Xbox's cloud gaming service packaged with Game Pass Ultimate and allows you to play Xbox titles on your phone, PC, and just about anywhere else, is now testing for PC and iPhone users. The testing is only available to those who were invited, which unfortunately did not include myself. Lastly, out of April that I want to mention is that Respawn and Oculus won an Oscar for Best Documentary, which, though the Oscars is now marginally trailing the video game awards in viewership, is crazy and pretty cool to see two gaming companies winning something that has been so long coveted in terms of award ceremonies.
Okay, fuck the Oscars, you know? Fuck the Oscars! Fuck you! I'll tell you! This is bullshit!
Well, mostly. Moving on to the news for May now, after an interesting month of Game Pass additions, which included Outriders and MLB The Show, both of which debuted on the service on their respective release dates, Wednesday the 5th saw the company patch 74 titles with the FPS Boost feature. For those of you who don't know what FPS Boost is, it's a feature from the newer Xbox systems that effectively doubles the frame rate of certain titles when enabled. For example, DICE's Battlefield 4, which ran at 60 frames on last-gen consoles, now runs at 120 thanks to FPS Boost. Included in the 74 titles to receive the boost are Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Watch Dogs, Metro Last Light, and Alien Isolation. Though this news by some is passed off as just a bunch of old games getting special treatment, it not only goes to show some pretty awesome features that the Xbox console could pull off, but also it's such a huge win for something like games preservation in the console space. It helps in making older titles feel new again and restores interest in them, which is a huge win for older gems that folks may have missed at their initial release, or just fell by the wayside due to an incredibly huge backlog. Definitely not talking from a personal perspective with that last point. Activision has recently moved Toys for Bob, the developer behind the recent Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, to work on Warzone Season 3, meaning that every developer under the publishing giant is now helping develop Call of Duty, which is rather upsetting news. With Vicarious Visions, the developer behind the recent success of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remasters, being merged into Blizzard recently, the news about Toys for Bob is particularly disheartening because, well, it probably means yet another long wait for fans of the platformer. Instead, the passionate talent behind these great titles are thrown into their mega franchises, creating a deficit in diversity for the publisher. My thoughts on the matter is that it's kind of scary to see this happen, and honestly makes me resent the publisher a bit. People for years have rightfully bashed EA for being grossly money hungry, but at least they have a program to promote diverse titles that, even though may not always be an absolute hit, are still given a chance to reach an audience that may appreciate them. For instance, look at the recent success and appraisal of It Takes Two. The fact that Activision is so all in on Call of Duty that they literally aren't investing in their other franchises that are beloved is just crazy. They'd probably just be better off selling the IP to other developers that could do them justice. Last bit of major news I want to mention without really going far into it is that the Epic vs Apple case has been underway this past week, and with it, quite a few interesting insider things about the industry have come to light, such as Sony making Epic pay for cross-platform play, Xbox always having been sold for a loss, and Epic's weaponization of their fan base against Apple. Again, I believe I'm nowhere near well versed enough to really go down that rabbit hole, but I'll link some articles from The Verge if it's something you're interested in. Over the past week, there were quite a few games that received delay, this time in the form of Resident Evil Village's multiplayer component, Reverse, which will now release this summer, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, the first 3D foray for the popular horror franchise, has been pushed from the ambiguous early 2021 window to an equally ambiguous later 2021 slot. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 for the PS5 has been delayed out of the upcoming summer without a new release window, as well as the Xbox edition of Fall Guys, with the latter now shooting to feature crossplay whenever it does release. As for upcoming releases, we have Hood, Outlaws and Legends, the dark reimagining of Robin Hood dropping on the 10th, and Mass Effect Legendary Collection, the 4K remaster of BioWare's beloved sci-fi trilogy, dropping Friday the 14th. And that's where I'm going to end this week's Waxo Report. As we approach the summer, news is going to get rather hectic with E3 and other gaming conferences about a month out. If you don't want to miss a second of it, again, hit the subscribe and bell to stay up to date. To get moment-to-moment updates, however, follow @WaxoPlays on Twitter for the biggest news when it's announced. This has been Waxo, and until next time, take it easy.